What would you do if the people who mocked you today ended up working for you tomorrow? Would you walk away quietly? Or would you come back stronger and prove them wrong? Because this is the story of a man who cleaned floors for a living, until the company that humiliated him discovered something shocking. The janitor they fired was the man who would eventually own everything. Before we begin, subscribe for more powerful life stories. And in the comments, type, "I am with you, Mr. Reality." Now let me tell you how a janitor turned humiliation into the greatest comeback his company never saw coming. My name is Daniel Carter. For 3 years, I worked as a janitor at one of the biggest tech companies in Chicago, Sterling Dynamics. Every night, after the employees left their glass offices and luxury desks, I walked the halls with a mop and a bucket. Some people ignored me. Others treated me like I was invisible. But a few made sure I knew exactly where they thought I belonged. One of them was the company's operations manager, Victor Langston. Victor had a habit of making jokes about me whenever his colleagues were around. "Careful," he'd laugh, "or Daniel might start managing the company next." Everyone would laugh, except me, because the truth was, they had no idea who I really was. Years earlier, I had built a startup with 2 college friends. We were young, brilliant, ambitious, but we made one mistake. We trusted the wrong investors. They forced us out of our own company and took everything. Within a year, the business collapsed. My partners left the country, and I was left with debt, humiliation, and a lesson I would never forget. So I started over, quietly. I took the janitor job at Sterling Dynamics because it paid the bills. But every night after work, I studied. I researched markets. I watched companies rise and fall, and slowly I started investing again. Small amounts at first, then bigger ones, smart ones. By the time 3 years had passed, my portfolio was worth more than anyone at Sterling Dynamics could imagine, but they still saw me as the janitor. And then came the day everything changed. It was a Monday morning. Victor called me into his office. He tossed a stack of papers onto his desk and said, "We're letting you go." No explanation, no warning, just a signature line and a security escort to the door. As I walked out of the building for the last time, Victor smirked and said something I'll never forget. "Maybe try a place that needs better cleaning skills." I didn't argue. I didn't get angry. I just smiled. Because Victor didn't know something important. Sterling Dynamics had been struggling financially for months. Stock prices were falling. Investors were nervous. And quietly, I had already started buying shares. 6 months later, the company announced a major emergency shareholders meeting. Rumors spread that a mysterious investor had been purchasing large amounts of stock. Executives were nervous. Board members were confused. And when the meeting began, Victor sat confidently in the front row. Then the doors opened, and I walked in, not with a mop, but with a legal team. The room fell silent. Victor's face turned pale, because the documents my lawyers placed on the table revealed one simple truth. Through strategic purchases, I had become the largest shareholder of Sterling Dynamics, which meant something Victor never imagined. The janitor he humiliated was now the man who owned the company. Victor tried to speak, but the board chairman cut him off, because there was only one question left. "What are your plans for the company, Mr. Carter?" I looked around the room, at the people who once ignored me, at the man who laughed at me, and then I said something none of them expected. "I'm not here for revenge. I'm here to rebuild this company the right way." Within a year, Sterling Dynamics became profitable again. Employees were treated with respect. Departments were restructured, and the culture changed completely. As for Victor, he resigned shortly after. Some people thought I should have fired him, but I didn't need to, because the greatest revenge is success they never believed you could achieve. Never underestimate someone simply because of where they are today. You never know the battles they've fought. You never know the dreams they're rebuilding. And you never know who might return stronger than ever. If this story inspired you, subscribe for more powerful life stories. And in the comments type, "I am with you, Mr. Reality," because sometimes the person cleaning the floor today is the one who will own the building tomorrow.